The ocean was calm on that Tuesday morning. Small waves pushed against the research boat where Commander Ethan Powell stood watching the water. The Navy had sent him to check strange signals coming from this part of the Pacific Ocean. He sipped his coffee and looked at his radar screen again. The odd blip was still there, moving under the water at a speed that no known submarine could reach. "Command, this is Powell. I'm still tracking the object. It's about 5 miles from my position and moving in a pattern I've never seen before." He spoke into his radio, keeping his voice steady even though his heart was beating fast. "Copy that. Powell, keep eyes on it, but do not approach. Admiral Carter is being briefed now." Ethan nodded to himself. Admiral Diane Carter was tough but fair. She would know what to do. He picked up his binoculars and scanned the water's surface. Nothing seemed out of place, but that didn't mean nothing was there. His equipment operator, Sam Kelly, called out from below deck, "Commander, you need to see this." Ethan hurried down to the small control room where Sam pointed at a screen showing underwater sonar images. The object just split into 3 smaller objects. They're spreading out. "Are they launching torpedoes?" Ethan asked, leaning closer. "No, sir. They're swimming, I think, like giant metal rays." Ethan watched as the objects moved with fluid grace through the water. "This isn't one of ours," he said quietly. "And I don't think it belongs to any other country either." At that moment, the boat's radio crackled to life. "Powell, this is Admiral Carter. Return to base immediately. Something big just entered Earth's atmosphere and is hovering over the Pacific. We're going to Condition 2. Sam looked up with wide eyes. "Condition 2? That's just 1 step below war footing." Ethan nodded grimly. "Whatever these things are, they didn't come from Earth." 200 miles away, Lavra Freeman was having a strange day. The dolphins she had been studying for 3 years were acting oddly. The pod of 12 that usually welcomed her boat with playful jumps were now swimming in tight circles, making clicking sounds she had never heard before. "What's got you all worked up today?" she asked, lowering a microphone into the water to record their calls. Lavra had been studying dolphin communication long enough to know when something was wrong. These weren't normal behavior patterns. Her research partner, Alan Mercer, joined her at the rail. "Anything?" he asked, pushing his glasses up his nose. "They're agitated. Listen." She handed him the headphones connected to the underwater mic. Alan listened for a moment, his face growing serious. "That's not in our sound catalog. It's like they're trying to warn about something." "Exactly what I was thinking." Lavra lowered a camera into the water, hoping to capture whatever might be causing the dolphins stress. The screen on deck showed clear blue water at first, then something moved in the distance. Lavra adjusted the controls to zoom in. "Alan, are you seeing this?" On the screen was a sleek, metallic object shaped like a manta ray, but much larger, easily 20 feet across. It glided through the water with impossible grace, approaching one of the dolphins. Is that ... is that a submarine? Some kind of drone?" Alan asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Before Lavra could answer, the object extended something like a thin silver arm toward the nearest dolphin. The dolphin darted away, and the entire pod began making even more frantic sounds. "They're scared of it," Lavra said. "Whatever it is?" The object seemed to lose interest in the dolphins and turned, moving directly toward their research boat. Lavra felt a chill run down her spine as it approached. "We should go," Alan said, already moving toward the controls. Lavra kept watching the screen. "Wait, look." The dolphins had regrouped and were now swimming in formation behind the metallic object. They were following it, but keeping a careful distance. "They're not running away anymore. They're watching it," she said, "just like we are." The boat's radio suddenly burst to life with static, then a clear voice. Attention all vessels in Pacific waters. This is a United States Navy emergency broadcast. Return to port immediately. Repeat, all vessels return to port immediately. Laura and Alan exchanged worried glances. Navy emergency broadcasts were rare. We should head back, Alan said. Lavra nodded, but kept watching the screen. The metallic object had stopped its approach and was now hovering in place about 50 feet below their boat. The Dolphins continued. Their circle around it, clicking and whistling in patterns. Lavra had never recorded before. I think they're trying to communicate with it, she said, her scientific curiosity overriding her fear. Alan started the boat's engine. If they want to make first contact, they can go right ahead. I vote we follow orders and get back to shore. As the boat began to move, Laura saw something on the screen that made her grab Alan's arm. Stop, look at this. The metallic object had extended several appendages, creating a pattern of lights that pulsed in sequence. The Dolphins responded, changing their clicking sounds to match the rhythm of the lights. They're actually communicating, Lavra whispered. This could be the most important scientific discovery of our lifetime. Or the last thing we ever discover, Alan said darkly, but he cut the engine. 5 minutes. We watch for 5 more minutes, then we go. In Washington, the National Security Council gathered in the underground situation room. Frank Bennett, the National Security Advisor, stood before a screen showing satellite images of a massive object hovering above the Pacific Ocean. At 0600 hours this morning, our early warning systems detected this object entering Earth's atmosphere. He explained to the grim-faced officials. It positioned itself approximately 800 miles west of Hawaii and has remained stationary since then. What are we looking at, Frank? The president asked, leaning forward in his chair. We believe it's the mothership, sir. Our Navy has been tracking smaller craft deployed from this vessel for the past 3 hours. They're entering the ocean and moving underwater. Hostile actions? None so far. They appear to be ... exploring, mapping. They're showing particular interest in marine life, especially dolphins. The Secretary of Defense spoke up. We have ships and aircraft standing by. Mr. President, what are your orders? The president was silent for a long moment. We're not dealing with Russians or Chinese. Here, we have no idea what these beings want or what they're capable of. Let's not start an interplanetary war on my watch. He turned to Frank. Establish a perimeter. No direct engagement unless they initiate. And get me someone who knows about dolphins. If that's what they're interested in, I want to know why. As the meeting continued, reports began coming in from naval vessels across the Pacific. The strange metallic scouts were appearing everywhere, and in each location, pods of dolphins seemed to be following them, observing, perhaps even trying, to communicate. Earth's first contact was not happening the way anyone had expected. It was happening in the vast, mysterious depths of the ocean, and humanity's first allies might not be fellow humans at all, but the intelligent mammals who had called the oceans home long before humans ever set sail upon them. 3 months passed since the aliens arrived. People called them the Myriad now, a name given after scientists noticed how they split into many smaller craft from their main ship. The giant mothership still floated above the Pacific Ocean. It looked like a huge jellyfish made of light, stretching several miles across the sky. Smaller craft came and went from it all day and night, diving into the ocean. Humans tried to talk to the aliens many times. They sent radio signals, light patterns, and even boats with greeting teams. The Myriad ignored them all. They seemed only interested in the ocean and what lived there. Commander Ethan Powell now led a special Navy team watching the aliens. His boat followed the alien scouts when possible, but they moved too fast and went too deep for humans to track them well. They act like we don't matter, Ethan said to Admiral Carter during their weekly video call. Like we're just some annoying animals living on the edges of their new territory. That's exactly what worries me, the Admiral replied, her face grim on the screen. Have you seen the latest reports from Dr. Freeman about the Dolphins? Yes. That's actually good news. At least someone can talk to these visitors. Laura Freeman had made amazing progress with her dolphin research. After that first day, when she saw dolphins and an alien scout interact, she focused all her work on understanding what was happening between them. Lavra and her team developed better equipment to translate dolphin sounds. They worked with a special dolphin they named Echo, who seemed more willing than others to interact with humans. Through Echo, they began to understand parts of what the myriad were saying to Earth's dolphins. They see the dolphins as equals, Laura explained to a room full of military and government officials. She stood next to a large tank where Echo swam, watching her with intelligent eyes, maybe even as superior to humans. To the myriad, intelligence in water is more advanced than intelligence on land. Can they tell us what the aliens want? Asked Frank Bennett, still serving as the president's advisor on the alien situation. Lavra nodded. Echo has been helping us understand. A myriad come from a water world many light years away. Their planet is dying. Some kind of radiation from their sun is poisoning their oceans. They've been searching for a new home for generations. And they picked Earth, said Frank, rubbing his forehead. They picked Earth's oceans, Lavra corrected. They have little interest in the land. They consider it undeveloped, primitive. Alan Mercer, Laura's research partner, stepped forward with a tablet showing maps of the Pacific. We've identified 5 major areas where the myriad are building underwater structures. Based on what Echo has told us, these will be their new cities. On our planet, said Admiral Carter, without asking permission. They asked the Dolphins, Lavra said quietly. According to Echo, the myriad sent signals ahead of their arrival. Dolphins have been aware of them for over a year before we detected anything. The room went quiet as everyone processed this information. Are you saying, Frank asked slowly, that dolphins have been in contact with an alien species without us knowing? Lavra nodded. Dolphins have a complex communication network that spans the oceans. They can send messages thousands of miles. The myriad detected this network and reached out through it. They see dolphins as the true intelligent species of Earth's oceans. We're just visitors from the dry parts. Meanwhile, far from that meeting, the USS Valiant patrolled the waters near one of the myriad building sites. Captain Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge, watching the water through binoculars. The water bubbled and churned as if boiling, but there was no heat. Any change in readings? She asked her science officer. Yes, Captain. Water chemistry is shifting again. Oxygen levels dropping, and there's some kind of new element we can't identify. Captain Martinez frowned. This was the 3rd site showing these changes. Whatever the myriad were building underwater, it was changing the ocean itself. Send another sample to the research team, she ordered. And maintain distance. Remember, we observe only. Her orders were clear. Watch, but do not engage. The world's navies had formed a loose perimeter around known myriad activity zones, keeping fishing boats and curious civilians away while scientists studied what was happening. Back at the research center, Dr. Alan Mercer analyzed the latest water samples from the Valiant. What he found alarmed him deeply. He rushed to Laura's lab, where she was working with Echo. The water chemistry is being deliberately altered, he said, showing her the results. They're making it more like their home world, higher salt content, different mineral balance, and some compound never seen before. Laura looked up from her work with Echo. What does that mean for Earth's marine life? Nothing good. If these changes spread, our fish, whales, even the dolphins won't survive in it. It's like terraforming, but for oceans. Ocean off-forming, Lara said quietly. She turned to Echo, who was watching them through the tank glass. Did you know about this? She asked, using their translation device. Echo's response came through the speakers in clicks and whistles that the computer turned into words. Myriad say change small parts only, not all ocean. Dolphins keep territory. Myriad take deep places. But these changes are spreading, Alan insisted. The samples from last week, compared to this week, show a 15% increase in affected area. Lara relayed this to Echo. The Dolphins' response was immediate and seemed agitated. A translation came through. Myriad promised boundaries. If break promise, Dolphins fight. Laura and Alan exchanged worried glances. Fight? How would dolphins fight an advanced alien species? Alan asked. Echo's answer was simple. Not alone, with humans. Dolphins remember old battles. No strategy. Need human weapons. When this conversation was reported to the Pentagon, Admiral Carter called an emergency meeting. Commander Powell attended by video from his vessel in the Pacific. The water changes confirm what we suspected, Admiral Carter told the assembled military leaders. This isn't exploration or peaceful settlement. It's invasion, just a slower, more subtle kind than we expected. On the video screen, Commander Powell nodded. The Dolphins tried to warn us. That's what those unusual behavior patterns meant from the beginning. So what now? Asked one of the generals. Do we strike first? Our conventional weapons seem useless against their technology. Admiral Carter looked around the room. We need to consider all options, including an alliance with the only Earth species that seems to understand our visitors. She turned to an aide. Get Dr. Freeman and her team here immediately, and tell her to bring Echo. If dolphins are willing to fight for their oceans, we need to know how we can help them. As military plans developed on land, something strange happened at sea. Dolphin pods around the world began to gather, forming larger groups than had ever been recorded. They moved in organized patterns, like armies assembling. They were preparing for something. And beneath the waves, the myriad continued building their new world, unaware that Earth's oceans already had defenders who had called them home for. Millions of years before humans existed, defenders who were now deciding the aliens had broken their trust. Laura Freeman stood on the deck of a Navy ship, watching dolphins swim alongside in perfect formation. It had been 5 months since the myriad arrived, and things were getting worse. The aliens were changing more of the ocean every day. Fish were dying in the changed waters. Even some dolphins had gotten sick when they swam too close to myriad buildings. Echo, Laura's special dolphin friend, led a pod of 20 dolphins next to the ship. Lavra lowered a special microphone into the water to hear what they were saying. The computer translated their clicks and whistles into words humans could understand. More dolphins come from south, Echo's voice said through the speakers. Big pod from Australia joins tomorrow. Warriors ready. Lavra still found it strange to hear dolphins talk about warriors and battle plans. She had always thought of them as peaceful, playful animals. Now she was learning that dolphins had a long history of fighting to protect their ocean homes. They passed down stories through the generations about battles against sharks, killer whales, and even against early human hunters. Echo, can you show us again how dolphins communicate across oceans? Lavra asked through the microphone. Echo made a series of complex sounds. The computer translated. Dolphin mind web spans all water. Think send to other pods. All dolphins. Know when danger comes. All dolphins fight together. Commander Powell joined Laura at the ship's rail. Mind web? Is that like telepathy? Lavra shook her head. Not exactly. It's more like an advanced form of their natural sonar. They can send patterns of sound waves that carry much more information than we thought possible. It's how they warned. each other about the myriad before the aliens even arrived. And now they're using it to build an army, Powell said, watching the Dolphins with new respect. Back in Washington, Admiral Carter met with military leaders from around the world. On screens around the room, Navy commanders from every major nation watched and listened. The situation has escalated, Admiral Carter said. Yesterday, the Myriad deployed a new type of craft. She pressed a button, and a video played on the main screen. It showed a metallic object shaped like a giant squid moving through the water. It had dozens of long, flexible arms that reached out to touch the ocean floor and nearby structures. This device has been systematically destroying our underwater equipment. Communication cables, research stations, even military sensors, all gone. It seems the Myriad have noticed our interest in their activities and have decided to eliminate our ability to watch them. What about a direct military response? Asked the Russian admiral on one of the screens. My government is prepared to use force. Admiral Carter shook her head. We tried that last week. A controlled test with conventional weapons. The missiles never reached their targets. They were stopped by some kind of energy field. And the submarines we sent in for closer observation were captured in the same field. We lost contact with them for 6 hours. The crews? Asked the Chinese admiral. Returned safely, but with no memory of what happened during those 6 hours. Admiral Carter replied, Whatever we're dealing with here, it's beyond our current military capabilities. In his laboratory on the Navy ship, Dr. Alan Mercer worked with a team of scientists to study dolphin sonar. They had discovered something amazing. When dolphins focused their sonar together, they could create sound waves powerful enough to disrupt the Myriad technology. It's like they're singing in perfect harmony, Alan explained to Laura when she joined him. Each dolphin produces sound at a slightly different frequency. When combined correctly, the overlapping waves create a pattern that seems to interfere with the Myriad systems. Could it be used as a weapon? Laura asked, not entirely comfortable with the idea. Alan nodded slowly. That's exactly what the Dolphins are planning. Echo has been teaching others how to coordinate their sonar. They call it the breaking song. That night, Laura couldn't sleep. She went to the ship's deck and found Echo waiting in the water below, as if sensing she would come. Why didn't dolphins tell humans about their abilities before? Laura asked. Through her portable translator, Echo's response came quickly. Humans not ready. Humans think dolphins just smart animals, not equals. Myriads see truth. Dolphins are ocean people with long memory. Now humans must see too. To save ocean home. Laura thought about this. How long have dolphins been ... intelligent like this? The translation came. Always. Before human boats. Before human cities. Dolphin minds speak across waters when humans still learning to make fire. This revelation stunned Laura. Dolphins had been an advanced species all along, but in ways humans couldn't recognize or understand. What happened before? Laura asked. Echo, you said dolphins remember old battles. Against what? Echo was silent for a moment. Then, others came before. Not many, not big like Myriad. Came to test waters, take fish, change small places. Dolphins. Sang breaking song. They left. Other aliens visited Earth before, and dolphins drove them away? Laura could hardly believe what she was hearing. Long ago, before many human lives, dolphins remember. Stories passed to all calves. Now song must be stronger. Myriad bigger than old visitors. The next morning, Laura shared this conversation with Commander Powell and Dr. Mercer. They were equally amazed. This changes everything, Commander Powell said. If dolphins have successfully repelled alien visitors before, they might know how to do it again. But Echo says the Myriad are much stronger than previous visitors. Lara reminded him. The Dolphins will need help, Dr. Mercer had been thinking. What if we could amplify their sonar? Build devices that could strengthen the breaking song and focus it precisely? Commander Powell nodded. I'll contact Admiral Carter immediately. This might be exactly what we need. Over the next week, scientists and engineers worked around the clock to build special equipment based on the Dolphins' sonar patterns. They created underwater speakers that could amplify the specific frequencies the Dolphins used. Meanwhile, more dolphin pods arrived each day, gathering around the Navy ships. Thousands of dolphins now swam in formation, practicing their coordinated sounds under Echo's guidance. On land, environmental scientist Greg Parker reported to the President's Emergency Committee. The ocean changes are accelerating, he warned. Temperature patterns are shifting. If this continues, we could see catastrophic effects on weather systems within months. Frank Bennett, the National Security Advisor, summarized the situation. Grimly, so our options are to watch our planet's oceans be transformed into an alien environment where Earth life can't survive, or to trust that dolphins, creatures we've underestimated for our entire history, might know how to stop an advanced alien species. The President looked around the room. When you put it that way, it's not really a choice at all. Give Dr. Freeman and Commander Powell whatever they need. If dolphins are willing to fight for Earth's oceans, we should be smart enough to help them. As the meeting ended, reports came in of a new and much larger Myriad vessel emerging from the mothership. Unlike the smaller Scouts, this one was massive, nearly the size of an aircraft carrier. Its shape resembled a giant squid with metal tentacles that glowed with strange energy. It's heading toward our main fleet position, Admiral. Carter reported urgently. This looks like the beginning of something big. The battle for Earth's oceans was about to begin. The massive Myriad vessel moved through the water with surprising speed. It looked like a giant metal squid with glowing blue tentacles that reached out nearly 100 feet in all directions. Navy ships tracked it as it headed straight for the USS Defender, the newest and most advanced destroyer in the American fleet. Captain Ryan Collins stood on the bridge of the Defender, watching the radar screen as the alien ship approached. His orders were clear. Test the new sonic weapons they had developed based on dolphin sonar, but do not engage unless attacked first. All stations report ready, Captain, his first officer said. Very good. Maintain position and alert our dolphin coordinators that the target is approaching, Captain Collins replied. Laura Freeman and Commander Powell were below deck in a special room filled with equipment. Large tanks connected to the ocean allowed Echo and 5 other specially trained dolphins to communicate directly with the humans, while still being able to send messages to the thousands of dolphins now gathered around the ship. The Myriad battleship is 12 miles out and closing, Commander Powell informed Lara. Are your friends ready? Laura checked the translation device connected to Echo's tank. Echo says all pods are in position. They've been practicing the breaking song for days. They just need our amplifiers to boost the signal when the time comes. Dr. Alan Mercer monitored a bank of computers showing sound wave patterns. The amplifiers are online and calibrated to the exact frequencies the dolphins use. In theory, this should work, but we've never tested it at full power. Well, we're about to, Commander Powell said grimly. The Myriad ship will be in range in approximately 20 minutes. On the main deck, sailors prepared for possible combat. They had all seen videos of what happened to the submarines that got too close to Myriad technology, how they were caught in strange energy fields that shut down all their systems. No one knew if their ship would fare any better, even with the new sonic weapons. Back in Washington, Admiral Carter, in a room full of officials, watched live satellite feeds of the confrontation. The President himself sat at the head of the table, his face grim. If this fails, what's our backup plan? He asked Admiral Carter. "Sir, we don't have one," she admitted. "Conventional weapons have proven ineffective. Our best scientists believe this sound-based approach is our only viable option right now." The president nodded slowly. "Then we pray it works." In the ocean surrounding the USS Defender, thousands of dolphins had arranged themselves in a complex pattern. They swam in concentric circles around the ship, maintaining perfect formation despite the currents and waves. From above, it looked like a giant living target, with the Navy ship at the center. Echo communicated the plan to Lavra. "First ring of dolphins will sing high notes. Second ring sings middle notes. Third ring sings deep notes. When all sing together, with human machines, breaking song will be strong enough to hurt Myriad ship." "But won't the Myriad ship attack when it realizes what's happening?" Lavra asked. Echo's response was simple. "Yes, many dolphins may die." Price of defending ocean home. Lara felt a chill run through her. The dolphins were willing to sacrifice themselves to protect their world. She looked at Commander Powell. "We need to make sure their sacrifice isn't in vain." "On the bridge, Captain." Collins received an urgent message. "Sir, the alien vessel has increased speed. It will reach our position in 10 minutes, not 20. They must have detected our preparations," the captain replied. "Alert all stations. Prepare to activate sonic defense system on my mark." The Myriad battleship's tentacles began to glow more brightly as it approached. Suddenly, 3 of the tentacles shot forward, extending impossibly far through the water. They wrapped around a smaller Navy vessel 2 miles from the defenders. Position. Within seconds, all lights on the captured ship went dark. It began to sink. "They've taken out the USS Mason," the communications officer reported. "No distress signal. Complete power failure." Captain Collins made his decision. "We can't wait any longer. Commence sonic defense now." In the special room below deck, Commander Powell gave the order. "Activate amplifiers. Tell Echo to begin the breaking song." Lavra relayed the message to Echo, who immediately sent out a series of rapid clicks to the dolphin formation. The water around the ship seemed to vibrate as thousands of dolphins began to make sounds in perfect coordination. Dr. Mercer monitored the sound levels. Amplifiers at 30% power, increasing to 50%. He pushed up controls on his console. 60%, 70%. Above them on the bridge, the crew could hear the dolphin song even through the ship's thick hull. It started as a low hum, but quickly grew to piercing, multi-layered sound that made the windows vibrate. "The Myriad ship has stopped advancing," reported the radar operator. "It's holding position 3 miles out." On the screens, they could see the alien vessel's tentacles writhing as if in pain or confusion. The blue glow flickered and dimmed. "It's working," Captain Collins said. "The sonic weapon is affecting their systems." But the alien ship wasn't defeated yet. It began to emit a strange pulsing light, and suddenly 5 of its tentacles shot toward the Defender. "Brace for impact," Captain Collins ordered. The tentacles never reached them. As they extended through the water, hundreds of dolphins broke formation and swam directly at them, focusing their sonar on the glowing appendages. Where the dolphins concentrated their attack, the tentacles seemed to waver and lose coherence. "Echo says to increase amplifier power," Lavra told Dr. Mercer urgently. "The Myriad are fighting back with their own sound waves." Dr. Mercer hesitated. "If we go to full power, we don't know what it will do to the dolphins. It could harm them too." "Echo says they understand the risk." "Do it now," Commander Powell nodded. "Take it to maximum power, Doctor." Dr. Mercer pushed the controls to 100%. The ship began to shake with the intensity of the sound now being projected into the water. Some of the crew covered their ears even. Though the sound was directed outward. In the water, A dolphin formation held steady despite the painful intensity of the amplified sonar. Echo directed the pattern, coordinating thousands of individual dolphins into a single unified sound wave aimed directly at the myriad battleship. The effect was dramatic. The alien vessel's tentacles contracted violently. Its metallic surface began to vibrate and then crack in places. The blue glow flared brightly and then dimmed. "Something's happening," Captain Collins reported as he watched through binoculars. "The alien ship appears to be breaking apart." In the water, Echo and the lead dolphins adjusted their sonar pattern, focusing even more intensely on the weakening myriad vessel. The breaking song reached its crescendo as thousands of dolphin voices combined with the mechanical amplifiers to create a wall of fires. To create a wall of sound unlike anything heard before on Earth. With a flash of blue light that temporarily blinded everyone watching. The myriad battleship shattered. Pieces of its metal skin broke off and sank toward the ocean floor. Its core imploded with a shock wave that rippled through the water. "They did it," Lavra whispered as she watched through the tank windows. "They actually destroyed an alien battleship." Echo swam close to the glass, making a series of clicks that the translator converted. First battle won, but war for oceans just beginning. On the bridge, cheers erupted as the crew witnessed the destruction of the alien vessel. Captain Collins allowed himself a brief smile before turning serious again. "Signal Admiral Carter," he ordered. "Tell her Operation Dolphin Song successful. Enemy vessel destroyed. Awaiting further orders." As the message was sent, no one on the ship realized they had just witnessed a turning point in Earth's history. The day when humans finally understood they weren't the only intelligent species fighting for their planet, and that their strongest allies had been swimming alongside them all along. News of the destroyed myriad battleship spread quickly. Videos taken from nearby ships showed the massive alien vessel breaking apart under the assault of the dolphin-human sonic weapon. People around the world watched in amazement as dolphins swam in perfect formation, creating a living weapon that could defeat technology far beyond human capabilities. 3 days after the battle, something unexpected happened. The giant myriad mothership that had been hovering above the Pacific Ocean for months began to lower itself toward the water. It stopped just above the surface, its translucent body pulsing with soft blue light. "They're sending a message," Lavra told Commander Powell as they watched from the deck of the USS Defender. "Echo says all dolphins can hear it. The myriad want to talk." Admiral Carter, who had flown to the ship after the battle, joined them at the rail. "Talk? After months of ignoring us?" Lavra listened to Echo through her translator device. "Echo says the myriad didn't think humans were worth talking to before. They only saw dolphins as true ocean people. But now they understand that humans and dolphins are working together, and that changes everything. So destroying their battleship got their attention," Commander Powell said with a grim smile. "What kind of meeting do they want?" Admiral Carter asked. Lavra relayed the question to Echo and listened to the response. "They want representatives from both species, humans and dolphins. They suggest a meeting place halfway between our ship and their mothership." Admiral Carter looked skeptical. "How are we supposed to meet underwater aliens in the middle of the ocean?" The answer came 2 days later when engineers built a special floating platform. It had pools of seawater where dolphins could swim while still being at the same level as the humans standing on dry sections. The platform was towed to the meeting point, a mile from where the myriad mothership hovered above the water. Laura. Commander Powell and Admiral Carter represented the humans. Echo and 5 other dolphins from different pods around the world represented their species. They waited on the platform as a bright beam of light shot down from the mothership into the water. From this light emerged 3 myriad beings. They rose from the water onto the platform, moving with fluid grace. Up close, they looked like octopuses, made of shimmering crystal. Their bodies glowed from within, changing colors as they moved. Each had 8 long tentacles and large, intelligent eyes that seemed to take in everything at once. Lavra felt both afraid and amazed. These were the first aliens humans had ever seen up close, and they were beautiful in a strange, otherworldly way. One of the myriad approached the edge of the largest pool where Echo waited. It extended a tentacle toward the water, creating ripples that moved in complex patterns. Echo responded with clicks and whistles that Laura's translator picked up. "They're communicating," Lavra whispered to Admiral Carter. "Echo is telling them about Earth's history, how dolphins and humans have shared the planet for thousands of years." The myriad being turned its large eyes toward the humans. It made a series of sounds that Echo translated through Laura's device. "We did not understand. We thought landwalkers and ocean swimmers were separate. We did not see the connection." Admiral Carter stepped forward. "We are different species, but we share this planet. The oceans belong to all Earth life, not just to one species." The myriad's colors shifted to a deep blue. Echo translated its response. "Our world is dying. We traveled for many lifetimes to find new oceans. We cannot go back." "We understand that," Lavra said gently. "But you can't simply take over our oceans and change them to suit yourselves. The changes you're making are killing Earth life." The lead myriad conferred with the other two, their tentacles touching in what seemed like a private conversation. Then it turned back to the humans. "We can adapt, make smaller changes, live in deep places where Earth life is less common." Commander Powell joined the conversation. "And stop altering the ocean chemistry in ways that harm our marine life?" The myriad's colors pulsed. "Difficult, but possible. We need some change to survive. Perhaps ... limited zones?" Echo clicked rapidly, and Lavra translated for the others. "Echo is suggesting a compromise. The myriad can have the deepest ocean trenches, places where few Earth creatures live. They can modify those areas, but must leave the rest of the oceans unchanged." For the next several hours, humans, dolphins, and myriad worked out the details of a historic agreement. The aliens would be allowed to settle in specific deep ocean zones. They would share their advanced technology with humans too, help repair damage already done to Earth's oceans. In return, humans and dolphins would help the myriad adapt to life on Earth without needing to transform the entire ocean environment. As the meeting ended, the lead myriad approached Lavra. It changed colors rapidly, creating a beautiful pattern. Of lights that Echo translated. "We have visited many worlds. Never before have we found 2 different intelligent species working together as one. This is ... unexpected, valuable. We have much to learn from dolphins and humans." Admiral Carter extended her hand toward the alien in a human gesture of agreement. After a moment's hesitation, the myriad reached out a tentacle and gently wrapped it around her hand. "I believe this is the beginning of something important," Admiral Carter said. "Not just for Earth, but for all 3 of our species." 1 month later, Lavra stood on a beach in Hawaii, watching Echo and a small group of dolphins playing in the surf. Nearby, a myriad scout vessel hovered just below the water's surface, observing the dolphins with what Lara had come to recognize as curiosity. Commander Powell joined her on the sand. "The President is calling it the Trilateral Oceanic Treaty, first interspecies agreement in human history. And definitely the first interplanetary one," Laura added with a smile. "The myriad engineers are already helping us clean up the worst ocean pollution. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours," Powell said. "And they seem genuinely interested in learning about Earth culture now." Lavra nodded. "Echo says the dolphins are teaching them about Earth's history, the real history, from a species that's been watching the oceans for millions of years, longer than we have. In the water, Echo swam closer to shore and made a series of clicks. Laura's portable translator picked up the message. Humans finally understand. Dolphins not just animals. Myriad not just invaders. 3 people now share ocean home. 3 people? Laura repeated thoughtfully. I like that way of thinking about it. As the sun set over the Pacific, 3 very different species, one native to Earth's land, one to its oceans, and one from a distant star, began the complicated work of learning to share a planet. The myriad had come to claim Earth's oceans, not knowing they were already home to an ancient intelligence. Their arrival had forced humans to finally recognize the true nature of their dolphin neighbors. It took an alien invasion for humanity to realize they had never been alone on Earth after all. And now, none of the 3 species would ever be alone again.